Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're outside again reviewing the Jurassic World Chaos Theory gigantic tracker, Suchomimus. So yeah, let's jump into this video. If I end up changing locations halfway through this video, or even for the other review, probably because the area I'm filming just is completely covered in fire ants, so yeah, hopefully I'm able to film here, but anyways, let's actually take a closer look at the packaging. So first, we have the Atrociraptors on the packaging, which I'm actually happy that they changed it to the Atrociraptors for the later wave. Since I know they had the Allosaurus on here before, but it kind of didn't make sense. Allosaurus, though, was featured and kind of shown to be the main antagonist, wasn't really, so, yeah. Anyways, we go over here, we have the Jurassic Suchomimus, Jurassic Chaos Theory logo, the actual logo itself. Then, on the back, we have the Styxosaurus, which I also got, which I will be reviewing as well. Suchomimus doing its action feature, Jurassic Facts app and such, alongside, like, generally it performing its action feature. Also, just want to show the front. Simple packaging. Not my favorite Jurassic packaging, but I think it basically looks like the Dino Rivals packaging, but done slightly better. So, guess that's kind of a plus. But, yeah, let's actually get this figure out of the packaging. So, yeah, here is our Suchomimus. Let's take a closer look at it. First, starting with the head sculpt. Looks really nice. It has a lot of scars. A lot of the newer ones have a lot of scars, which I hope Mattel just kind of stops doing. It's a little, like, I guess it's kind of cool from time to time, but they've getting, like, really excessive with it. It's, like, completely covered in them. But, moving on to the bottom, more scars and really good detailing. Like, there's an entire slash mark completely down the leg. It's, like, I don't know. I feel like it's a bit much. On the hand, you can see the scoots alongside. These claws that'd be fine for both theropods, but are kind of undersized for Spinosaurids. Then just look at the paint as well. It's like a nice yellow underbelly, a lot of good markings. Like, this wave has probably some of the best paint we've gotten from Mattel. Weirdly enough, we're getting way less paint on the Rebirth figures, so that's a really big shame. But it's really weird that Mattel does like really good paint jobs, and then when a movie comes out, they just use way less paint. But yeah, pretty much the paint goes even all the way out to the tail with some white slashes on the tail. So yeah, honestly, it's just a really nice figure. Also, I like that they casted the feet. Since they're casted separately, they decided to make them gray. So, yeah, that's really nice that they actually decided to do that as well. And also, they didn't color in all the slash marks, but I guess they're supposed to be partially healed. That's why they're not, like, red. And then instead, just like more of a white color. But, yeah. Now, moving on to the actual, like, articulation. We have the arms move forward, backwards, and outwards, like most figures in the size range. Legs go backwards, forwards, and outwards, of course. Another thing that Mattel typically does for their articulation. Now, we also have the tail can move, but that's part of the action feature, but the tip of the tail can actually swivel. And then the neck and jaws also are articulation. Also, the rubber teeth look great on this figure. The inside of the mouth, which I didn't really show before. Let's see if I can get that open. So yeah, there's the mouth. Hopefully it's on camera, but kind of see it has a nice tongue. Looks really good. Also, has red eyes. Generally, I think it's just a really nicely painted figure. Now for the action feature, pretty much you can move the tail down to make it chomp down, tail up, make it chomp up. Turn it side to side to, like, kind of chomp from the side to side. And, yeah, that's pretty much the action feature for this figure. I honestly think it's really nice. I don't know. I think this is probably, like, my favorite articulation. I like the buttons, probably my second favorite. But the tail movement like this, I think, are really great. And I'm happy that they're moving into Rebirth with this action feature. So, yeah. Now for the actual size comparison, which I do want to mention. I forgot to bring my tape measure, so I have to do that afterwards. For, like, the actual measuring like that at my regular filming location. But I'm going to compare it to a few things. Okay, before moving to the actual action feature, I want to show the scan code before I forget. If I can get my camera to focus, hopefully, maybe, possibly. Again, I don't know why my camera wants to be so weird sometimes, but it does. And now, what have I done to the exposure? Give me a moment. So yeah, we're back to my regular recording station since, again, there's way too many fire ants over there and just got tired of filming over there. It's like a really weird filming location. Anyways, I just brought it back here. So we're going to take another closer look at this thing again, so... Again, I know we just went through all this, but we're going to do it again. Back at the regular filming location, where hopefully it's a little bit better. If I can get my camera to focus on this thing's face, we can take a closer look at it. But, of course, my camera, for some reason today, has just been really weird and not working properly. So, yeah, I apologize if I can't get any good looks at this thing's face. And also, I don't know why I cannot get my lighting to work. Been a really weird today. Let me see if I can just fix this lighting. Okay, I think I finally fixed the lighting, and that means, well, just messed it up there. Anyways, that means we can finally finish this review. So, closer look at this thing's head. Has a lot of really good detailing. Again, there's just so many scars. You have a scar on like the cheek, going down to the side. There's a scar right here, scar right above the arms, scar on its back, scar on its legs, scar on its really nicely sculpted feet, scar on the like kind of behind the calf, thigh, scar like right above that, another scar, actually several scars above the leg right here, several scars on the tail, more scars on the tail, even more scars on the tail. Oh yeah, there's also scars on its hand. Okay, some scars on the inside of its leg, yeah, I think there's some on this side too, scars on the inside, scars on the back of the foot, scars on the calf, scars on the thigh again, scars on its side, scars on its arm, scars on its neck and chest, alongside more scars on the underside of the tail, scars on this side of the chin and underside of the jaw, scars on the top of the snout, scar across the face where the eye is, scar across the neck, scar across the back, another scar across the back, a whole entire, several gashes on its back right here, and alongside, accidentally bumped the camera, even more scars on its tail. And more scars on its tail. Honestly, there's even some scars on its, like, I think some slashes on its toenails. Like, I think Mattel's gone really heavy with the scars on this figure and many of the other Chaos Theory figures. I think, honestly, I would have preferred way less scars. I know a lot of other people kind of said that they find the scars a bit excessive, or like just they did way too many of them. But, yeah. Anyways, again, the articulation can go outwards, so that it like kind of has its arms out. You can also move the legs backwards and kind of forwards. You can also swivel the legs outwards, so you can kind of do splits. Also, there's joints on the feet that swivel them as well. You can also, of course, articulate the tail, but that's tied to the action feature. Alongside the neck and jaws, which are also tied to the action feature. Again, I know I showed this earlier, but it can chomp down, chomp up, turn its head and chomp side to side. You can do it from the front. So, yeah, that's the action feature of the Suchomimus. Generally, it's a really good sculpt, really good action feature, really good paint job. Only thing that I think I do have to say is, again, it's really heavy on the scars. That is the only issue. Also, the tail could be a bit longer, but it's better than some of the older Mattel figures. And also, I was not expecting there to be long tails. I kind of wish that they would just add clip-on tails to the Gigantic Tracker figures, or now the Gigantic Thrasher figures, like they have on the Wild Roar ones, just to make the tails like a bit longer. Like, imagine if the tail kind of went like double that, so that's all the way out to here. At the very least, I know it still wouldn't be perfect, but I think it'd still be a little bit better than getting like longer tails. But honestly, at this point, all I want is more paint on the Rebirth figures. Now, for the actual length. This figure measures in at almost 14 inches long. At the top of the head, measures in at about 6 1/4 inches tall. At the top of the hip, about 6 inches, or a little bit under 6 inches tall. Now, to actually compare it to some things. First, let's compare it to the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, actually, Spinosaurus. So, yeah, honestly, it sizes up pretty nicely. It's pretty small compared to it. Of course, much bigger. I don't actually have the original Suchomimus figure, so I cannot compare it to that, unfortunately. But I can compare it to this massive Spinosaurus figure. Also, kind of side note, I hope we get another Spinosaurus figure. I know we've gotten, like, I know pretty much so far we've had 2 readily available Spinosauruses. This one, which is a repaint of the original Legacy Collection one, and then we also got a new sculpt recently that's supposed to have, like, that's kind of like a little bit of a different sculpt, and I think that's cool. But I hope in the future we get another Spinosaurus sculpt that is like that looks more like the original Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus, kind of like this figure, but just with fixed proportion, just better, just using the newer techniques Mattel have come up with, giving it just like a proper length tail, just all the things. I also really hyped for the Rebirth Spinosaurus. We'll do a review of that when that releases, at least in the US. But yeah. Anyways, back to the Suchomimus. Next, let's compare it to the Jurassic World Baryonyx. And, yeah, this is not one of the newer ones, but you can see it sizes up really nicely, and also just the sculpt really matches with this thing. Like, they both look like they're related, like actual related animals. I think that this just looks nice. Looks like they kind of have similar proportions. In fact, I actually think the Baryonyx has almost like a longer tail proportionally than the Suchomimus. So there's that. Outside of that, I think that they're really cool kind of pairing next together. I know we're getting a newer Baryonyx from for Rebirth, but I actually hope that in the future I know that we get a Baryonyx that's a little bit more accurate. Like, at least a little bit more like the website design, giving it like just more, because I know a lot of people really like Baryonyx, but they just hate the Jurassic World design. So I think it'd be cool to get a more actual Baryonyx looking Baryonyx. And like maybe in the main line, I think it'd be cool to get that, since I know they kind of did that with Spinosaurus, gave it a little bit more of an accurate figure before even Rebirth came out. So yeah. Anyways, I think that they just size up really nicely. And of course, Suchomimus is much bigger. And surprisingly, their heads are about the actual same size. Just the Suchomimus' head is by kind of more proportion. The Baryonyx' head is oversized, of course. But it's actually kind of interesting just to see how similar in size their two heads are. So, yeah. Now, let's compare it to the Jurassic World Ichthyovenator, which I'm going to have to angle my camera down a little bit. You can see that the Ichthyovenator is way smaller. In fact, it's a little bit bigger than the Baryonyx in height, but in length they're about the same. And, yeah, the Ichthyovenator has a really big, thick, oversized head. While the Suchomimus' head is actually smaller than the Ichthyovenator, which is intriguing. But, yeah, it's really cool to see these together. Honestly, I hope we get more larger Spinosaurids. Like, I know we got Siamosaurs, but honestly, I wouldn't be mad of getting, like, a Gigantic Tracker Australia or Signomastosaurus, just to give us like kind of a Spinosaurus that's more accurate and with more accurate proportions of like the scales and stuff. I think that would actually be really cool to get in the future. But yeah. Anyways, speaking of Siamosaurus, here is the Jurassic World Siamosaurus, which is about the same in length and I think has a bigger head. But yeah, they kind of did like accurate 2014 Spinosaurus here, which is pretty cool. Though I do hope that we get an actual like an Australia or a Signomastosaurus Gigantic Tracker figure in the size range that actually is like truly modern day accurate Spinosaurus figure. That'd be really cool to see. So yeah. Anyways, compared to again, they're about the same size. Actually, the Signomastosaurus with the sail is like the back is slightly taller, but the head of the Suchomimus still is a little bit taller than it. So there's that, but these are two wildly different figures. Anyways, now let's compare it to the Jurassic World human, Atrociraptor Hypsilophodon, and can't remember the name of the Abelisaur. I would compare it to an Irritator, or even the Ceratasuchus, but I do not own those two figures. Also, I missed on the Hammond Collection Irritator. Yes, I'm going to keep on crying about that. Anyways, yeah, here's compared to these guys, and honestly, it sizes up pretty nicely. Like, even, like, just with the Raptors, I don't think we actually ever saw the Atrociraptors with Suchomimus. I could be wrong about that, but I don't really remember that. But then, compared to a human figure, this sizes up really nicely. So, yeah, honestly, also, we just have the, like, it can pretty much just chomp a human. Just the whole thing can just go into its mouth. Oh, it can actually pick up things pretty decently, because I know a lot of Mattel figures have, like, pretty weak bite forces. The whole thing, but honestly, this thing, I know it's a little, not the strongest bite when grabbing onto a human figure, but it can kind of hold on to one. So yeah, that's really nice to see. Again, not the best. Now, I would compare it to the Styxosaurus, but that figure is still kind of in the box, so you'll just have to wait to the Styxosaurus review to actually see it compared to this. Now, we are going to compare it to the Jurassic World Battle Roar Baclospinax, and I actually really like both of these figures, though there's one issue I have with them: the sizing. Realistically, like this Majungasaurus, like in the show, Majungasaurus and Suchomimus are the same size, and Suchomimus I think is about the right size. So Majungasaurus is oversized. And in the show, Baclospinax is also oversized, but it's still smaller than Suchomimus. Realistically, the Baclospinax probably should have... Okay, there's two things they should have either done. Either they should have had this guy be a Gigantic Tracker figure, the Baclospinax, and have the Suchomimus be like an actual special figure with like an action feature and larger. Or they should have pretty much just completely swap things around. Have Baclospinax be a Wild Roar figure, have Majungasaurus be a Gigantic Tracker figure, and have Suchomimus be a be a one of those bigger special figures. Honestly, I think that would have made more sense, but at the very least, just have Backle move down to a giant. Just swap these two sizes would make a little bit more sense. I do kind of find it weird that happened. That the Suchomimus, like honestly, I don't have much of an issue with the Backle oversizing, like on its own, but when you actually compare it to the Suchomimus figure, is when it's kind of just weird in my opinion. So yeah. Anyways, on to my final thoughts. I think it's a great figure and definitely recommend picking it up. Actually, all of the Jurassic World figures are on clearance right now, pretty much. So I got this guy for $14 alongside the stickers, so it's like $31 together, I think, which is a great deal for both of these really good figures. It also means that we're probably going to get Rebirth figures really soon, since the other figures are going on clearance already. So super excited for that. I also the other Abelisaur and Hypsilophodon I also found on clearance. So yeah, it's honestly really nice that all these figures are on discount. Definitely, if you want to get Jurassic World figures, would definitely recommend getting them now before the Rebirth stuff comes in. So yeah. Anyways, again, 10 out of 10 figure, definitely one of the best figures released, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.